Live from the studios of Long Island's News Network, this is News 12, Long Island.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Corning. Here is the latest at 7 p.m. President Obama has unveiled a new plan to help stimulate the economy. It calls for tax breaks for small businesses that make improvements in 2011 and Americans who make $250,000 a year or less. The plan would also provide $50 billion for infrastructure investments. A vicious attack in Valley Stream. Cops say a man was beaten with a hammer by the Staples on Sunrise Highway. The hammer fell from the victim's tool bag during the attack, and that's when the attacker started beating him. He is in the hospital being treated for a gash, non-life-threatening injuries. Lawmakers are calling for an investigation into a Long Island-based website. It allegedly lets college students bet on their own grades. Students from schools across the country can sign up and double their money if they bet correctly. If the website wins, wins if the students fail. Here was a quick look at the forecast tonight. Partly cloudy, breezy, and cooler with lows 55 to 61. Thursday, fall-like temperatures, variably cloudy, gusty winds, the highs in the low 70s. That's the latest from the newsroom. I'm Ron Corning. Let's head back into the studio now. Judy Martin is there with tonight's edition of Long Island Talks. Judy?
Thanks a lot, Ron. Following a fatal shooting in the Huntington Station, some Suffolk legislators approved a committee plan to restore a police substation there. Now, what's the plan? Can it make a difference if it goes through? Long Island Talks starts right now. Hello and welcome to Long Island Talks, the show that lets you weigh in on the big stories of the day. I'm Judy Martin. Another outbreak of violence in Huntington Station. One man was killed, 3 others wounded. Lawmakers are exploring plans to restore peace to this community. News 12 Long Island's Andrew Enger explains.
More tears and blood on the streets of Huntington Station. Another shooting overnight, adding to the community's rising crime rate. The violence here has risen so dramatically in the last few weeks that school officials closed nearby Jack Abrams Intermediate School out of safety concerns. Police have increased patrols, but residents say it's not working.
The neighborhood's got rough, every day somebody getting killed.
One in opposition, the motion carries.
Suffolk County legislators taking the first step to build a police substation in Huntington Station. Legislator John Cooper says a permanent police presence and additional monitored security cameras will help police get the upper hand on gangs and criminals.
So I think that this will deter crime. I think that this will allow officers to respond much more quickly to crime as it does occur in Huntington Station.
But according to County Executive Steve Levy, a substation isn't the answer. This right here is getting more cops on the street and fast.
We have always maintained that it makes more sense to have officers patrolling the neighborhood than sitting behind a desk.
Levy stood with New Suffolk police recruits saying the county is hiring more cops, many of whom will be put to work in high crime areas like Huntington Station. Though he couldn't say how many of these new cops were actually replacing retiring officers.
It should be a net plus.
Still, Huntington Station residents say something needs to be done about the violence, and soon.
What can you do? You cry.
Levy says 220 cadets will graduate from the police academy by this time next year. But Suffolk legislators aren't waiting. They're expected to vote next week on looking for a site for a new police substation in Huntington Station. Andrew Enger, News 12, Long Island.
516-393-1800 is the number. LITalks@news12.com, our email tonight. And joining us in the studio is the author of one of those plans, Suffolk legislator John Cooper, and the commanding officer of the Suffolk Police 2nd Precinct, Inspector Edward Brady. Also with us by telephone tonight is Dolores Thompson, president of the NAACP Huntington branch. And Dolores, we're going to begin with you this evening. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Dolores. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great, great. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. There are a couple different plans floating around right now. We've got the substation and the idea of this community center. What are your thoughts in light of what has been going on, especially the unfortunate incident last night, deadly tragedy there?
It's getting horrendous. Everyone is very upset about what the going on is. We understand that there's probably retaliation being taken for some of the people that have been shot. We've had 3 to 4 people that have died, and all in the Huntington Station area, in South Huntington actually, and not where the substation is located.
Dolores, as far as you're concerned, what do you want to see? Do you want to see more people on the street there as far as police officers? What are you in favor of at this point? What is the community telling you?
Well, the community naturally is very upset. We're all nervous, and we're trying to come together to try to get rid of the violence and crime that is now all over our community. We want to make sure that we have enough police officers in all of the areas, and that's very difficult because at this particular time, we don't know where and when the next shooting is going to take place. We have gangs in the area, so we need the police department, and they are doing as much as they can, but that's still not enough. We need the police officers to be on duty from 12 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning, along with the fact that they are there during the day.
Dolores, real quick, we want to keep you on the line here for the remainder of the program, but are you in favor of the community center giving that a shot, as County Executive Steve Levy has suggested, or actually resurrecting another police substation there?
Well, I don't think it's another police substation that's necessary. The substation is fine, but that's not taking care of the crime that's in South Huntington. The substation is now located up near the Jack Abrams School on Lowndes Avenue. What would be the point in putting another substation there?
Okay, Dolores, actually that's a community center, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the program. Please hang out on the line with us. We really appreciate you calling in tonight. Legislator Cooper, let's go to you now. You suggested looking into an actual substation, putting more money, not only with regard to putting more people on the street there, but also there was an annex there. The substation was there in 2006.
Yes.
And you say, hey, I want this to be resurrected, but you've got a plan that has a couple of prongs in it. Give us the rundown of that.
Yes, there are actually 5 police substations in various parts of Suffolk County, all of which were shut down in 2006 as a cost-saving measure. I proposed a 3-point action plan for Huntington Station to try to deal with the rising street crime and gang violence right now. One of them would be to reopen the police annex that was closed in 2006, and I'd like to see it open somewhere in the general vicinity of the Jack Abrams School.
And that would be the substation?
That would be the substation.
Just want to be
as
clear
opposed to
about
the community,
here,
right, there's the Community Resource Center, which has 1 cop and 4 town code enforcement officers. Problem is the cop is there Monday through Friday, 9 to 4.
Right.
Basically when there's no crime. So I believe that we need to have a police annex that's manned 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm also proposing that we spend $60,000 to install an additional 20 surveillance cameras in high crime areas. And third, I've introduced a bill that would direct the Suffolk County Police Department to investigate ShotSpotter technology, which is highly advanced acoustic surveillance.
That's another price tag, I would assume.
Another price tag, but I've identified funding for that from asset forfeiture funds, and it's being used very successfully in Nassau County, Westchester County, and dozens of other cities and counties across the United States.
Now, what you're suggesting now is in committee, correct?
My bill to reopen the police annex got out of committee today, so that will be before the full legislature next Thursday. The other 2 bills, they're budget amendments, so they're going to be laid on the table at the next legislative meeting next week and available for a vote in October.
So things are moving forward as far as you're concerned.
Moving forward on all fronts.
Okay, I just want to ask you very briefly, what do you think of the county executive's suggestion that, hey, you know, we have this community center, and if there are people there, they can reach out to the police officers and within minutes get police where they need to be? And why not give that a shot?
I have no problem with the Community Outreach Center. That's certainly a good way to deal with quality of life issues and housing violations, but the cop is only there Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 during the day.
Just not enough for the current situation.
Now, if the county executive, and I actually proposed this to him, if he were willing to add additional cops, whether they be regular cops or light duty officers, to cover the rest of the shifts as well as weekends, that may be a possible solution. I did speak to the gentleman that runs the Huntington Housing Authority, where the outreach center is located, and he has offered free office space to the police department to house the annex. So we could reopen the police annex at no cost to taxpayers.
Okay, so there's a lot going on around that. And Inspector Brady, let's bring you into the conversation.